Okay, I heard the camera shut off just as I was coming up to the 360. I turned it back over to 1-inch 360. So now we want to leave a 120 land, and I went 160 on the other one, on this one, and it worked out pretty good. So I'm just going to go zero my travel dial, go 150, 60. And now I'm going to come in there and turn up as far as I can. Alright, now we can part it off. And we can part it off just leaving a little nub on the end. That nub doesn't really do anything. Actually, I am going to hit those lands with a little bit of a file here. All right, now. Alright, we'll clean up that end. Should be able to do that with, take it out, take this out of there, stick this in there. Just cleaning up the little nub on the end. We've got to go up a little bit below center there. There we go. Now, not much there to hang on to get it out. See if I can get it out here. There we go. Alright. Cool. So now that goes in here. Like that. The slot goes that way. Okay, we're getting there. One last part that I got to make. Well, I got to make the pins too. But I have to make a nipple for that. So that's the last part. Then we're in business. Then it'll be a matter of getting it put together and timed, and so I need to make the pins. So I'm gonna round up material for that. You know, I could almost make it out of the same brass. Although I need to line up my copper line that I'm going to go to the boiler, so I know what diameter, because I plan on drilling it out so that the diameter of the copper tubing that's going over there will fit in there nice. So I'll be back when I figure all that out, and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm just trying to tie up loose ends here. I have my connecting rod here. I opened up the hole to fit this brass tubing, and this is the same size approximately as an ink pen tubing. I had some ink pen tubing around, but I couldn't find it. But I did have this brass tubing from a Stirling engine that I was building, and what I did was I took a tap, ran it in the end, 256 for my screw, and now I'm going to cut off a little piece of that. I'm going to attempt to cut off a little chunk of that for with my Dremel. That'll fit on here, and it will basically create a little shoulder bolt. It's just going to be a little brass sleeve that'll slide on my rod. So I'm going to sit down and cut with my Dremel tool. I'm not going to video that, but that's what I'm going to do. Then I can start. I think I can start putting things together. So I can put that all the way that way, and then I may have to oblong these holes just a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be close. So we'll see what I got to do here. And I'll be back when I get the screw made up, or this sleeve for the screw made up, and I start putting things together. I'm going to tip it over here once and see just how, because that's about where the cylinder is going to have to sit, somewhere in that area. Well, I might be able to get a screw in there. See, I'm not sure exactly how far that slide valve needs to go in. I'm guessing right around in there somewhere. So I should have put this leg back a little bit instead of in the center. Oh well, I could unsolder it and go ahead and do that and move it. It's got to be right about there somewhere. I hate to modify this too much. And I don't know if just the one, well, no, the one screw is not going to hold it. Well, first things first, I'm going to go with this, get this brass tube made up, and basically a brass collar fit on the screw. I'll end up shortening that screw up a little bit, and I'll be back. Okay, I have it all together now, kind of temporarily. And we're going to put some air to it, and we'll see what happens. I got a regulator on here, so I got the pressure turned back down to about 31 pounds. So we'll see what happens here. I need to put that nipple on here yet. Solder that nipple on there. Oh, look at that. Took right off. Oh boy, that's ringing. Alright, now let's see if we can go the other way. I see that my pin in slot back here is a little snug, so I gotta kind of hold it the eccentric. Yeah, it must be in the middle of, yeah, not all the way turned. It runs that way too. Better not run it too much because I don't have any oil in it. It squirt a little in my line here, I guess. I don't have an oiler on the line. Cool. So, it's a runner. Kinda. Let's see how slow down I can take that pressure. Let's go down to... That's about 10 pounds of pressure there. Yep, still runs there at 10. So, now I got to get that nipple on there. get this shaft cut off, and then get to working on the boiler. I don't know if I'm going to video any of the boiler work. I don't know if how many people will be interested in that, because obviously everybody doesn't have an old Whedon boiler laying around. I suppose I could make one out of a tin can, because that's if I didn't have this boiler, that's what I would do. I would use an old soup can, solder the end on it, first I'd put my water gauge fittings on, and I'd put a fitting on top here for the steam to come out. I'd put a fitting over here for the pressure relief, and then I'd put a fitting over here for filling, and then I'd solder the end back on it. But yeah, you can make a soup can boiler pretty easy, and the soup can boiler would be no different than this boiler. I mean, that's a piece of tin. All it is a piece of tin soldered together. So I'm kind of happy with this here, that it runs at 10 pounds with that nylon ring in it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, take it apart, put the nipple in there. I do have to open the slots up here to get it forward far enough, because otherwise if it's back too far, this hits. I could shorten this one up. The crank is threaded, because this is I mean, I could just drill the hole down the line and cut it off. Maybe that's what I'll do. And see, my screw came loose here. Even though I have a sleeve on it, I tightened it up on the sleeve, but it came loose. Didn't tighten it up enough. I'm thinking now. So I'd have to shorten this up and this, and I have to shorten it by about a 1/4 inch to use this frame. About a 1/4 inch off on my measurements, I guess. And I'd have to make the connecting rod over again, because there's no way that I'd be able to move. Well, I could move this one 100 thou, and then I could move that one 100 thou, and then plus I could mess with the crank length. I might do that. I might go ahead and shorten this by a 1/4 inch. First, I'm going to get that nipple on there, soldered in place. And but to the drawing, everything works. The valve works, is right. And I just happened to. It's no kidding. I just happened to get it in the right place, and it ran. That's no kidding. That's the first run. You seen it. You seen the first run. I put this together with a regulator on it because I didn't want to blow 110 pounds in there and blow something apart. So you actually did see the first run. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to squirt some oil into the nozzle here so that it'll run through there. Maybe. Okay, I filled the nozzle kind of up with oil. So it's got oil in it now. I'll get it on there. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. It was going to go all over my surface plate. Some did go in though. Now I got to clean up my surface plate. What a mess. I think that's where I'm going to leave off here until I get this cut and this shortened, the nipple on there. And when, like I say, I don't know how much of this boiler rework you want to see, that anybody would want to see. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder some, it does have threads in there, so I may not have, I might get away on this